Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Susan, and today I'd like to talk to you guys about the fact that I got my driver's license. So it's still the paper because I haven't collected the card yet, but I want to tell y'all this is part 2 of the story of how I eventually got my driver's license. So the first video was about how I got it, or I attempted to get it in Botswana. And now this is the second video in this driver's license series about how I got it in South Africa. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so I mean, you're probably thinking it's not that big a deal getting a license, right? Like, it's pretty straightforward. Get a driving school, get your learners, do the and then like do some lessons, and then like just road test, and you got it, right? Not for me, because there's this aspect of my life called being an immigrant, and you would think that as long as your paperwork is like in order, things won't like get in the way, right? No, because the system is essentially designed against us. That's how I feel. But anyway, so let me get into it. So initially, in my first video, I spoke about how I got it in Botswana. And maybe the one question that someone would have is, why didn't you just attempt to get it in South Africa from the get-go? And I explained in that video that I took my time in uni. I was really, really concerned about getting a driver's license. And eventually, when I wanted to get one in South Africa, it came with a lot of pushback, because this is what happened. So as a foreign national in South Africa, when you want to get your driver's license, you can't just walk up and get your learners. So go and write your learners. No, you can't do that. You need something called a traffic register number. The traffic register number is a 13-digit number that is issued by the Department of Transport to uniquely identify foreign nationals in their database. So it's essentially like an ID number for foreign nationals, but uniquely for the Department of Transport's system. So I reached out and I communicated with the city of Johannesburg, and I asked them, how can I get a traffic register number? First, obviously, I checked Google, and then I tried to reach out to like the relevant traffic departments that were close to me. And eventually I went in person to the Department of Licensing and Driving License Testing Center, in Midrand. And I asked them, I was like, I want to get my traffic register number. How do I go about doing it? And then they said, oh my dear, didn't you hear? Due to coronavirus, the city of Johannesburg no longer issues traffic register numbers. That there's a lot of corruption around how they were obtained. There was that they're looking for new ways to identify foreigners in their database, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, if I can't get it in the city of Joburg, who's to say that other metropolitans or other municipal governments are issuing this number? A movie, a mess, a wild. It was like crazy. So this happened before I decided to do my driver's license in Botswana. So cool. So this was the knowledge that I had. Went home, tried to get in Botswana, failed, and came back to South Africa. So at least I had like my new 1-year visa. I was working, and I wasn't inspired to pursue my license again, because I was like, what's the point if I can't even get that number? Because if I can't get that number, I can't get my learners, I can't get my driver's license. But obviously I have my driver's license now, so I figured out a way to get that number. So 2022 goes by. I'm not really too concerned about getting my driver's license, but something spurred me in the month of August of 2022. Something just inspired me to actually try again. And I had the money saved up a bit. I had the money, and I was like, I'm going to try and get my driver's license again. And I'm going to try and get this number. So I leveraged the power of Google once more. And I Googled driving school that can help me with getting a traffic register number. So the first website I was presented with was like a really, really good website. The driving school looked legit. Because I'm also very skeptical, guys, because this is South Africa, and actually it's just the world. People are scammers, okay? People are scammers out there. So I don't want to be scammed paying money to something that like wouldn't help me, right? So I thoroughly checked that this company was legit. I checked that it was registered under CIPC. CIPC is a company, something. You can check that a company is registered there. And it was something that I was also using when I was job hunting, so that I made sure that I'm not like being human trafficked or whatever when I go for an interview. Check that this company was registered. Cool. Google reviews. Guys, let me tell you, I believe in Google reviews. People are telling the truth out there. People don't have a reason to lie on Google reviews. No one is paying us to do those reviews. So I checked Google reviews, and there was one review that stood out for me. This man stated that he was a foreign national and that this driving school helped him get his license in 2 weeks. And I was like, yes, this is what I need. This is what I need. And I was like, you know what? I think now I believe, because my fellow brother in arms, in immigration arms, vouched for this school. I didn't even contact that reviewer to like be like, are you legit? Is this true? Is this serious? So I believed what he said, and I'm like, I'm taking my chances on this school. I reached out to the number that was given on the WhatsApp chat, and I asked this person, how can I get my traffic register number? And guys, mind you, this number is free. It's free from the government. Even on the paper that I got, it says 0 rand. But because the city of Joburg does not issue the number, they have to, the only provinces issuing that number, according to my knowledge, is KZN and Western Cape, because my friend who lives in Cape Town got his in Cape Town, and my driving school instructor, as well as one other driving school that I've interacted with but not on a serious note, also mentioned that they do their traffic register number in KZN. So I had to cough out money to get this traffic register number done. And all I could do, and I was given a lead time of 2 weeks, like pay this much, 2 weeks, send us a picture or a scanned copy of your passport. That's all we need. And this number will be issued to you. I was like, cool, because I needed it. And I did that, and I got the paper, and I met the instructor for the first time when he was delivering it to me. And it was legit, because I went to eNatis, our internet, the National Traffic Information System, the online one, the electronic one, right? I went on it and I made an account with that traffic register number, because remember, it's a unique identifier, and it did say that traffic register number is registered in my name. So I knew it was not fraudulent. So I was like, thank the heavens, because I paid money to get it, because they had to cover like courier costs and the fact that someone was doing it on my behalf in KZN. So cool, now I have my traffic register number, and I sit with it for a while, because I was still trying to sort out like my visa issues, trying to renew my visa and. But eventually I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna wait for like my new visa to happen before I get this license. Initiative, can you hear the drive? Can you hear the initiative? Anyway, so your girl, I contact the school again, because I'm like, if they help me with this one thing, they can help me with everything. So I contact the school again and asked, please give me a quotation for how much it will be to get my learner's license, right? So they gave me a quotation. They're like, okay, we're going to charge you 200 rand for study materials. We're going to charge you 200 rand to transport you to the testing center. We're going to charge, then you have to pay obviously the booking fee of like 100 rand or something. I don't know. Issuing fee, must have the issuing fee on the day. In total, I spent about 800 rand getting my learner's license. And the thing is, I do not regret it, because as a foreigner, apparently only the Roodepoort driving license testing center is the only one that allows foreigners or people with traffic register numbers to ride. So I had to go all the way from Midrand, where I live, to Roodepoort. My instructor picked me up in the morning, And it was also a very similar story to how I got my learner's license in Botswana. He told me the day before that I'm writing on like the next day. And I was like, okay, what can I do about it? So I went, I just studied the night before with the materials that he'd given me. And I was writing the next day in the morning at 11 a.m. So I studied and I went and I wrote, excuse me, and I passed. Yay! I guess I'm good with like first attempt, what do you call this? First attempt learner's licenses, but not the other tests, as my previous video can explain. So after I did that, I was like, cool, I'm happy I have this now. I think I waited like a week or 2 weeks to like amass more money, and I was like, give me a quotation for my physical lessons. So just to give you a timeline, August was traffic register number, September was learner's license, and now we're in October. I'm like, give me a quotation, I want to do lessons. So also, mind you, I was doing my license with code B, code 8. Yeah, I was getting my car license because I'd learned with a car in Botswana, so I didn't see the need of doing the truck this side. I was like, I'm going to stick to what I know. I'm going to do my car license. So he hooked me up with an instructor. I only paid for 5 lessons because I know how to drive. I mean, based on the timeline of how much driving I was doing in Botswana, I was basically at driving school for 4 months in Botswana. So I only paid for 5 lessons and did the 5 lessons over, like, it's 5 lessons, 5 hours. So I did it over 2.5 days. And they scheduled it for me literally from between the day between I requested that I want to do the test to the day that I actually did the test was 1 week. There was only a week's difference. So in that week was the time I was doing my lessons. I gave my instructor my traffic register copy, passport copy. I also had to give him a visa copy to book my test legitimately. Not that it could be booked illegitimately, I'm just saying. And yeah, it was booked. And I get there on the day. And guys, I was a nervous wreck as usual. Like, I had a final practice and I was failing everything that I practiced the whole weekend, and I was doing it perfectly. So, because I was writing on a Tuesday. I was driving on a Tuesday. I don't know the test was about. You guys, I was a mess. But my instructor told me, Susan, relax. You can drive. You can do this. So I was like, okay. That's something. It was a mantra I kept saying in my head. Unfortunately, unlike Botswana, where they give you a government-issued vehicle that is communicating with the ground and all that stuff. In South Africa, you test with your driving school's car, and it's very traditional. You know, the instructor is with you in the car, is monitoring what you're doing. So it was great. Like, that human element, I felt, I guess having technology removes the bias that a person could have towards you, but I'd done the technology part and I didn't have a great time. So now I was in the car, I was testing, I went up and the instructor came down. I went upstairs, like this office, the instructor came down after, and I'd already done the eye test. So you first do an eye test. I did the eye test, it was all good, and then I paid for the test. And then I was like ready to go. So it was my time, just a bit early before my time because no one else had been, well, the person was booked for that time didn't show up. So yeah, hadn't practiced an incline in a year, by the way. And remember, it's what failed me in my last year test. But I passed it. I did so well. I didn't roll back at all. So I passed the incline. And then I kept stalling the car with my alley docking and my parallel parking, but I did everything 100%. So that was a good thing. And then from there we had the road test, and in the road test apparently I was going too fast. I was literally at the speed limit, which was 60. I don't know how fast the one has to drive when we're testing. I don't know, but he told me I was going too fast. That time I was 60 and I was in 4th gear. But oh well. And then yeah, I did the road test and I passed. I was like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Lord. And then I paid, and they issued me with this big fat piece of paper, and now they told me to wait 8 weeks to collect my license. So I'll probably be collecting it a few days from now. Maybe I'll post a post about getting it, but yeah, they told me to wait 8 weeks. So even with that, you know, guys, I checked eNatis to see the status of the license, and it was like ready for collection, and it had only been 6 weeks. So then I went there, and they're like, "You should wait 8 weeks, girl. Don't believe the internet." I'm like, how can I not believe a system that you set up? Huh? Like, yeah, I can't deal with how things are run in this country. But anyway, that's the story of how I got my driver's license. And also, fun fact is, you know, you can get your automatic driver's license, right? So that's actually what some of my friends in Botswana did, because they were sick and tired of failing, because you're testing with a manual car, you're rolling back on the incline. So they get an automatic license, and if the Department of Transport actually does their due diligence, it's listed as a restriction that they are automatic drivers, so they can't drive manual cars. But I, for one, I'm a free spirit. I did not want to be restricted, and I really did not want to give up. I really didn't want to give up, because like I was like, manual is manual, I must learn. I mean, they're being phased out, but I like a challenge. I don't know how many times those words have gotten me into trouble with myself and my mental health, because I'm out here doing challenging things. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening to both my stories of Botswana versus South Africa. I hope you enjoyed these two videos, and I'll probably upload them like at the same time. But thank you so much, guys. Please let me know, honestly, please let me know, how was your driving license experience? How many times did it take you to get it? Because honestly, at this rate, I think according to me, it took me three attempts, because I kept failing in Botswana, and then I finally passed in South Africa. So please let me know, like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with your friends. Yeah, just let me know your experiences as well. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you, guys. Bye.